There's a saying in Chinese. It's 小巫见大巫. It means the little wizard sees the big wizard. I love this saying because it's so visual. And in China right now, you're getting sort of this little wizard mentality, which is that they're in the game. They're in the game of art. People are starting to get more and more interested. There's more and more art students. There's more and more people looking to express themselves. But compared to those major art hubs, Tokyo, New York, Berlin, it's difficult to say that China is quite at the same level. There's those aspirations, but not that real ability quite yet.
And how do you do to solve this problem for struggling artists especially?
Well, first, that you have struggling artists at all in China is already a great improvement. The older generations in China, as you know, I work a lot with intergenerationality within China. The older generations in China, while they venerated art, they saw it often as impractical. Remember, the older generations were often driven by more subsistence considerations. And so that this younger generation is now even considering art as an outlet, as a profession, as something worthy of pursuit is already a massive improvement.
Talk to me a little bit more about these artistic villages or artist villages. What are they exactly? How does it work?
Sure. Well, similar to gaming, similar to AI communities or AI industries, different city governments do create environments or ecosystems within their cities to support artists. This is something that the government actively supports in terms of their funding. And so throughout the country, you get these communities, you get these artist villages that have dedicated space with reduced rent or no rent whatsoever, as well as provided resources, integrated platforms that allow artists to work, that allow artists to be seen, that allow artists to be discovered. Well, on top of that, you're also getting a real interest in art around the country. I think I was in Beijing recently. I'm based in Beijing, and UCCA, one of the premier modern art organizations or museums here in China, or there in China, they have lines out the door for people to go and see their newest exhibits. There was a Picasso exhibit that just came through that made headlines daily and blew up on social media. There is that interest. There is that passion for art. Now it's just about linking that passion with capabilities, with funding, and then again with that freedom of expression and freedom of movement that every creative pursuit needs.
And how easy or difficult is it for young, new-coming artists to actually make a living and support themselves as artists in China?
How easy or difficult is it for artists to support themselves anywhere in the world? To be totally candid, the economic incentives around art are not always there. This isn't a uniquely Chinese perspective. I actually think it might be easier in China than other places in the world because you do have these government incentives that do allow for at least sort of subsistence, eking a living style of life for young artists. You know, I went to school in New York, and if you go into Brooklyn, most artists are actually waiting tables. You know, that is the day job. That the fact that you have in China, obviously the need for a day job for most up and coming artists, but also this government support and some funding is a ray of bright light in the otherwise sort of dark and desolate world of writing, painting, and creating